Good afternoon, everybody. JL Overland here, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit about the Gobi rack. I know a lot of people still kind of waiting on him. Gobi rack has quite a while for its whole process from order to delivery. I actually picked this up secondhand from a person up in Pennsylvania. That was a long drive, but I'll show you kind of how the whole system works. No install video. When we installed it, I was trying to beat a storm before coming back down, so I'll kind of show you how everything is set up. It's pretty simple. The instructions are on the Gobi website, link down below, and we'll get started. So the first thing you're going to do when you install the Gobi rack is that you're going to remove this little hood cowl right here, and inside you're going to attach this bracket to one of the bolts inside there, and there is a bracket right here that goes inside to the bolt and attaches to this bolt on the door. You do that for both sides, tighten it down and everything. Once that's set up, you're going to get your front hood loop, and you're gonna need two people for this. Better to have two people, or else you'll probably scratch your hood. And you're gonna bring it over, kind of set it down. They have some tape you're gonna put up here. I didn't have it, and I don't have a worry with it not having it. So you'll be fine if you order through them. You'll get the clear tape, protective tape for your paint. And once you put that on, kind of put a bolt in to have it settled and ready. And once that's on both sides, you'll get the bolt through here, and you'll take this off and put this plate on between these three bolts, these three holes, which is held in right there, and it goes into the actual hood, and you'll tie them down loosely so that way you can start putting the whole rack on. So now that you've installed the front loop, you're going to move down to this area right here and remove this plastic trim piece. There is this plastic trim piece as well. Remove those two and the metal bracket back here, so that way you have access to the frame or the body balance right here. If you already moved these, then no worries. You can leave them off after this or put it back on. I chose to put them back on just to have more of a finished look until I get new fenders. But I'll show you how the matrix of bolts and nuts are underneath here. So here's kind of a look underneath the whole Jeep. The bracket goes over, and you have all of these matrices of nuts and bolts and brackets. There's a very detailed description of how to do it in the instruction manual that comes with Gobi, and it's on their website. So I'm not going to go too much into it, but here you can see it mounts to the body. And you know, there's a lot of people on forums, a lot of people saying different things about having a body mounted versus having a frame mounted. So Gobi has gone ahead and attached to the so there's no more of those issues that people are saying of having your frame move without the body and kind of giving weird flexing on some of the parts. So if you guys are worried about that, there you go. So now that you have your whole matrix of bolts, nuts, and brackets put in, you're gonna have this part left, and as you can see, it's where the roof rack hinges at for you to put it on. You have this on both sides, and you're supposed to line it up properly according to the instructions. But once you start putting this on, you'll need two people to put it on, or it's going to scratch your hard top or soft top or whatever you use. So now with the help of two people, you're going to raise the roof rack over your Jeep. They include a small cardboard kind of cylinder tube to put over your soft top or your hard top, so that way you can put it on there and start with the front of the roof rack and kind of use it to roll over your top. If you don't have somebody to help you really lift it and they're not strong enough or tall enough, it's a good way to protect your top, hard top or soft top. So once you lift it over, there's little hooks on here. You can have it rest on top of the hood loop while you get back here and put your bolts and nuts and washers all through in here. And once you've done that to both sides, you can make sure it's fitted properly up in the front. And if you have your quick disconnects or your regular nuts and bolts, you can put it in there, kind of loosely put it in there for alignment and everything else to make sure everything's properly fitted. And with that, you start going backwards, tying down all your bolts and nuts and everything else until it's perfectly fitted. So now if you have a ladder, you can put that on, make sure it fits perfectly, and if you have the windshield deflector, you put that on as well. There's a certain amount of distance you're supposed to have for the nuts to the end of the bracket. I ended up getting some metal washers as well to put over these plastic washers, because I found that this kept moving regardless of how much I tightened it. So I gotten it tight, and now it doesn't move, and it's perfect where it's at. And after that, you're essentially done with your install of the rack. There's some other things you can get, some more accessories. You can get a front Sunrider little rack thing to put in the front, so you have more space if you don't plan on really taking your top off or anything else. You get another ladder. You can get mounts for an ARB awning, a Batwing awning, your high lift jack mounts, or some shovel and axe mounts. You got to order all those through Gobi, and there's still a slow process for that. Kind of slow, but that's because they get a lot of stuff and they're all built to order. So now to go through the most important thing that everybody's here to watch, putting back the Gobi rack while having the JL soft top. Sorry to say, you can't really ride it with the Sunrider portion folded back. As you can see, it's a very, very tight fit right there, and it's not going to work out too well. I don't think Gobi even says you can ride it with the Sunrider feature. So you're going to have to tilt the whole soft top all the way back in order to be topless. So let's go through it. First things first, you can remove the rear panels and back window out of your Jeep first if you want to. You don't have to. I found it was easier to take it out afterwards just because. So here's a video of me installing or removing the rear windows and the side panels with the rack folded down. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt, just because there's a ladder right here, and then on this side there's also this thing right here, which makes it kind of a little bit difficult to put it in, to put the windows back in, and everything else. For the rear windows, you're going to have to pull it the other way. You can't have two ladders on here unless you want to take it off or pull back the Gobi rack each time you want to take the soft top windows off. So what I recommend is getting one side ladder if you have a soft top, and making sure you get the side that you don't take your window off. So usually I take mine off on this side, but because I picked it up secondhand, it was already on there, so now I have to go to the other side, which makes it a little bit more difficult when you have the door open right here and you're trying to get this part off when you have your antenna mount and you have to push it that way. So here's how you take the soft top windows off with the Gobi rack. So now that you have either taken off your windows or not, first or second step of this process is to loosen these little bolts. So there's these metal plates that you put on the bottom of your tub to protect it from damage, or if you end up trying to sell this, you can remove this and there's no marks on the tub. If you have a hard top, they include some metal brackets that go up right here, where this bolt would do the same thing against the hard top. But I don't have that, and we're running a soft top. So this step is very important. As you can see, this part will touch your rear tail light, and if you do that, if you try to push the top back while these are still on, it will destroy or damage your tail light. At least for the LEDs, I'm positive it does that. The guy that I picked this up from accidentally did that to himself, and he stressed the necessity to loosen these up before you start removing or you start tilting back your hardtop or your roof rack. Now that you've done this, now once you do this both sides, you can move on to the front of the rack. Make sure to remove any antennas or anything else that's sticking out past this part, because once this folds down, it's going to hit it. I actually used to have a quick disconnect on here, and I didn't think about it, and I actually broke it. So I bought a little heavy-duty spring for the CV mount. So make sure to either remove it or don't have it. So now on the front of the rack, if you have quick disconnects like I do, it's a little bit faster. If you don't, there's a bolt and nut you'll have to remove. With a quick disconnect, it comes with a long little strap you can use to attach your rack itself and the front loop, so that way you can tilt it back by yourself. So what you're going to do is you're going to either remove the bolt and the nut, or this twist on nut with the washers and everything on both sides. The loose pieces. And as well as remove this quick disconnect that they have that's tied to the rack itself, so you don't lose it. And this little plate that it's included with it, so that way if one of these two were to fail, this would catch on and hold the rack in place. So let's do it to both sides. So now that you have removed both bolts and both safety pins off of the bracket itself, you're going to put on this strap if you bought the quick disconnect. If you don't, I believe you have to do this by yourself and find a way to secure it. Just depends on what you're using. If I didn't have the strap, I probably would maybe lean against my roof, or you could build, I've seen people build a small table in which they can rest the rack on, or even use a spare tire, open the tailgate and use a spare tire to rest the roof rack on. I wouldn't do that unless you have some kind of reinforced tailgate or something, because I feel it's a lot of stress to put on your tailgate hinges, and over time that probably isn't the smartest thing to do. So the first thing you're going to do, there is one end of the strap that has a loop, and you're going to get it looped through with the other end of the strap and make sure it's tight and centered. Once you got that done, you're going to use the other end of the strap, wrap it itself around the bar twice, and attach it to the small D-ring right here. And once that's done, you can get yourself or somebody else to help you hinge the roof rack back. So now you can tilt back your rack. I'm going to stress, make sure all your bolts are loosened that are against the body mount, and then we can start doing this. So here's the whole rack tilted back with the quick disconnect strap holding it in place. Now you have access to put your Sunrider back or your whole soft top back. One important thing I forgot to mention when putting back your Sunrider is that this strap will touch your soft top, and probably over time it'll probably mess it up a little bit. So suggest kind of moving it out of the way while you're doing it, just so you're not destroying your soft top in the process. And once you put that in soft top, your roof rack back, you'll have to put all your bolts in and your quick disconnects and everything else. This is how it looks with the soft top down. You still have a good amount of visibility. You can still lock it down in place. Yeah, and this is what it looks like from the inside. You have all that view still. On the back, you have the view of the little mesh guard right there. Now that that's done, you can ride around, you can do all your stuff in here. You have a 300-pound dynamic weight load while moving with the roof rack, and if you are stationary, you have an 800-pound limit, I believe. Now for wind noise, if you have a soft top, there's going to be wind noise. That's kind of an obvious. Anything you put on the front of your Jeep that kind of messes with the aerodynamics, you're going to hear wind noise. Just depends on what you want to do. The biggest thing about this roof rack is, yeah, there's some wind noise, but the biggest thing comes from flapping between the soft top touching and hitting the top or the bottom of the rack. So what I've done, went to Walmart, picked up some of these foam pipe insulation, and I put them under this this crossbar that comes with it. I'm ordering the little panel insert that goes over your firm panels to give it a little more area to be spread out instead of under one point, and it should lower the amount of flapping that you get. The back was the biggest example of this. As you can see, I have a whole bunch of foam, put it everywhere. I should probably put one more right here, but that's where all your noise from the soft top hitting your roof rack will come from. Using these these foam pads will severely take down that the flapping noise. All in all, this roof rack is pretty awesome. You can do so many modifications to it. You have so many uses for it. So much storage up top. You can put a roof rack or rooftop tent if you want, or you can even do some small modifications that make it better. I made my own limb risers from Lowe's and some parts from there. You can find some videos online that show how to make them yourself instead of having to pay some other person to make it and send to you. And so it even looks nicer in my opinion. Maybe shouldn't have gone so thick with this little tightener fastener, but you know, it worked out in the end. Now with this all done, you can go ride and have fun with your Jeep. So please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share for anybody that's interested in the Gobi rack, post some comments down below if you have any questions or any other things you want to ask me. I will try to respond to you. If I don't, I'm sorry. I'll get back to you. This is JL Overland, signing out.